Have you ever seen the industry's most cynical critic completely lose his ability to speak? We begin tonight with a moment that paralyzed the America's Got Talent stage. A moment that didn't just break the internet but seemed to break himself. Usually, the music mogul is the first to find a flaw, the first to interrupt a sob story, and the first to roll his eyes at a busker. But as Blue stood there, the atmosphere in the auditorium shifted from standard variety show energy to something heavy and historical. Experts in body language noted that wasn't just impressed. He looked physically stunned, as if he were seeing a ghost from the music industry's past. This wasn't a manufactured reality TV moment. It was a collision between a street performer and a gatekeeper who realized he had missed a legend hiding in plain sight for years. This silence was the first clue that story wasn't what it seemed on the surface. While most stars are born in expensive vocal booths, Blue was forged in the humidity and grit of the French Quarter. To understand why his voice carries such a haunting resonance, our investigation takes us back to the cobblestone streets of New Orleans. This wasn't a hobby. It was a brutal daily grind for survival where the stage was a sidewalk and the audience was a crowd of distracted tourists. In this environment, you don't just sing. You fight to be heard over brass bands and sirens. Rumors from local shop owners suggest that would stand in the same spot for 10 hours straight, developing a vocal stamina that most pop stars couldn't dream of. This concrete conservatory is where he learned to project emotion without a multi-million-dollar sound system. He was a local legend long before the cameras found him, but the transition from the street corner to the global spotlight would reveal hidden scars that the bright stage lights couldn't quite mask. What if I told you that the music industry had actually tried to delete Blue years before his viral audition? There is significant speculation among industry insiders that wasn't a newcomer at all, but a talent that had been systematically ignored by major label scouts. Sources suggest he had previously auditioned for various talent hunters who claimed he lacked the marketable aesthetic required for modern pop stardom. This raises a shocking question. Was his AGT appearance a desperate last resort, or a calculated act of revenge against a system that tried to bury him? By the time he walked onto that stage, he wasn't looking for a big break. He was looking for an apology. This hidden history of rejection adds a layer of defiance to every note he sang. He wasn't just performing for a seat in the finals. He was performing to prove that the experts who had previously dismissed him were fundamentally wrong about what the public actually wants to hear. Why did a man from the streets of NOLA choose a song that felt like a funeral march for his own past? The choice of material for his audition wasn't accidental, and many fans believe there was a coded message hidden in the lyrics. In the world of high-stakes TV, song choices are often heavily influenced by producers, but reportedly stood his ground, insisting on a track that mirrored his personal legal hurdles and past conflicts. Our sources indicate that the emotional weight of the performance came from a place of genuine pain, possibly linked to accusations that surfaced during his younger years which nearly derailed his career entirely. This wasn't just a cover song, it was a public confession. The raw honesty in his delivery is what ultimately bypassed defenses. When a singer isn't just hitting notes but is actually reliving a trauma on stage, the audience can feel it. It's the difference between a performance and a revelation, and was definitely revealing something deep. If you look closely at the high-definition playback, you can see the exact millisecond realizes he's in the presence of a finished product. Reporters covering the entertainment beat for decades have rarely seen this vulnerable. The theory currently circulating is that recognized New Orleans grit as something the industry desperately lacks today: authenticity. There was no polishing needed, no image consulting required. The silence from the judges' table wasn't just out of respect, it was a moment of internal calculation, was likely realizing that Blue represented a massive missed opportunity for labels everywhere. This wasn't just a good audition, it was an indictment of the current talent scouting system. For a man who prides himself on discovering the next big thing, the realization that had been busking for change, while the industry searched for the next big thing, must have been a bitter pill to swallow on national television. Behind the soulful melodies lies a period of life that almost saw the music stop forever. Before the viral fame, there were whispers of a dark season or nearly his own ambitions due to the sheer weight of poverty and systemic pushback. In New Orleans, the line between stardom and total obscurity is razor thin, and was reportedly living on that edge for a long time. There are untold stories of him losing his gear, losing his housing, and nearly losing his voice to the stress of the grind. This isn't just a rags to riches story. It's a story of survival against a world that seemed determined to keep him on the pavement. When he sings about heartbreak or struggle, he isn't pulling from a script. He's pulling from nights spent wondering if his next meal would come from a tip jar. This grit is what gives his voice that haunted quality that left the judges speechless. You cannot teach that kind of soul. It has to be earned through the kind of hardship most wouldn't survive. Can a man who was raised by the spirit of the Crescent City ever truly fit into the rigid of the Hollywood machine? As our reporting continues, we look at the clash of cultures that occurred the moment stepped into the AGT bubble. New Orleans music is about soul, improvisation, and raw connection, while Hollywood is about timing, lighting, and brand safety. There have been reports of tension behind the scenes regarding how should be packaged for the masses. Rumors suggest that producers wanted to lean heavily into his sob story, while wanted the focus to remain strictly on the music. This conflict highlights a major issue in modern entertainment: the desire to turn a human being into a product. His refusal to play the reality star game has made him a hero to independent artists everywhere, but it has also created a difficult path for him within the traditional industry structures that usually controls with an iron fist. Where do you go after you've already peaked in the eyes of millions? Usually, after a golden buzzer or a viral audition, an artist is immediately funneled into a cookie-cutter album cycle and a series of talk show appearances. However, Blue's path has been strangely quiet, leading to intense speculation about his current contractual status. Is he being silenced by a bad deal, or is he intentionally withdrawing to protect his art? Some insiders suggest that the accusations or legal complexities from his past in New Orleans have made labels hesitant to move forward, while others believe is the one holding out for a better offer. This radio silence has only added to his mystique. In an era where everyone is chasing clout, his absence from the mainstream show of celebrity culture is perhaps his most shocking move yet. He is proving that he still belongs to the streets of New Orleans, not the boardrooms of Lowe's Angels, and that has the industry very concerned. Is Blue the last of a dying breed, or the start of a new revolution for independent creators? As we analyze his impact, it becomes clear that his story is about more than just one man's voice. He represents every undiscovered artist who has been told they aren't enough by people in suits. His success is a revealed truth that talent doesn't need a permission slip from a major label to resonate with the world. The secret history of his busking days isn't just a backstory, it's his credentials. He graduated from a school that could never attend. By keeping the judges speechless, he effectively silenced the idea that the industry is the ultimate authority on what is good. The ripples of his performance are still being felt, as more street performers are being viewed with a new level of respect. Didn't just change his own life. He changed the shocking reality of how we perceive the people singing for change on our city streets. As we close this investigative report, the question remains: what is the final chapter for the man who made Speechless? While the cameras have turned off and the viral buzz has leveled out, Blue's journey is far from over. He remains a mysterious figure, a man who conquered the world's biggest stage only to return to the shadows to perfect his craft on his own terms. Whether he releases a chart-topping album or returns to the street corners of the French Quarter, his legacy is already secure. He proved that true soul cannot be manufactured, bought, or silenced. We will continue to monitor the situation, but for now, Blue stands as a testament to the power of resilience. He reminds us all that the most powerful stories aren't written in Hollywood, they are lived on the pavement. The next time you walk past a busker, you might want to stop and listen. You might just be witnessing the next person to leave the world speechless.